We're going to call to order the special meeting, the City of Cape May. We're in Cape May City Hall Auditorium. Today is Tuesday, November the 21st, 2023. The time is now 4:04. Can we have a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council, posted on the website and the City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that Cape May City Council meetings are audio recorded and video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the city website. City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Deputy Mayor Baldwin.
Here.
Councilmember McDade.
Here.
Councilmember Meyer.
Here.
Mayor Mullock will be arriving shortly and participating in the closed session. Councilmember Yeager.
Here.
City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz.
Here.
And Council, we have one resolution, 308-11-2023, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss the Broadway Pavilion lease at 100 Beach Avenue, Mermaid's lease at 702 Beach Avenue, the city manager position, and deputy city clerk position. If there is a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin?
Yes.
And open to the public at this point? Seeing none, Council, if you're ready to go into closed session?
Yes.
All right. Time is 4:06.
Good evening, everyone. I apologize. We're just coming out of closed session that went a little longer than we had expected, and we're waiting for the clerk, who will just be here in one moment. All right, good evening, everyone. We're just coming out of a closed session, which we will be taking no action on, but we need to close that. Do I have a motion to close the closed session?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We don't need a vote, right? Okay. Now we'll open up the special meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May, New Jersey. We are here in the Cape May City Hall Auditorium. Today is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. The time is now 4:16. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To clarify, this is the regular meeting, and it is 5:16.
Thank you.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Thank you.
Under the Open Publics Meeting Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council, posted on the city website and City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that Cape May City Council meetings are audio recorded or video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Deputy Mayor Baldwin.
Here?
Councilmember McDade.
Here.
Councilmember Meyer.
Here.
Mayor Mullock.
Here.
Councilmember Yeager.
Here.
City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz.
Here.
City Manager Vall.
Here.
City Engineer Paul Dietrich.
Here.
All right. Updates?
Okay. City Manager, any updates?
Just
As everybody knows, the firehouse to be opening next week. They're getting some last-minute repairs done or set up, getting it cleaned up, so you should have everything ready to go next week. The parade, as you know, is coming up. Excuse me, I'm looking at my wrong notes and saying, why does this sound right? So anyway, the firehouse and the Rotary Park tree lighting next week, as we know, will be there. The parade will be Saturday on the 2nd, Rotary Park on the 1st, and our Christmas decorations will be going up over the next week. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Mr. City Solicitor.
I don't have any updates. Mayor, just want to wish everybody, hope everybody has a nice Thanksgiving.
Thank you. City Engineer.
Thank you. Since we had a short agenda, I thought I'd make up for the short agenda with a bunch of updates, so bear with me. Just got an update from Public Works. They received a firm install date, so it looks like they're going to be bringing the Bank Street Pump Station install is going to be on right around December 13th. If you've been noticing some of the construction around City Hall and at the Welcome Center, they've been doing the electrical vehicle chargers. They've got to the point where they've set the pedestals of the actual charging units themselves. Obviously, they're not activated because with the ongoing Atlantic City Electric strike, the final connection is going to be a little bit delayed. Their queue has gotten backed up quite a bit, so it'll be a little bit before we actually get be able to turn them on. But people will be able to at least see the charging units are there, but they're not ready for use yet. Really good news, the dredged Liberty Island landed in Cape May Harbor today. However, because of the weather, they were not able to hook it up and start dredging, so it'll remain in the harbor. One note about the dredge and any associated pipe that they may have in the harbor, the Army Corps requires the dredge company to have a tug on with the dredge 24/7, so we would not experience any similar issue that we experienced over the summer. So they have 24/7 manpower out on the water anytime the dredge is in the harbor. They anticipate, because of the little bit of delay of the dredge coming to Cape May, they probably won't get to start dredging the Wilmington Avenue Beach until January 2nd. At this point, they have 40 days of pumping out on the Coast Guard base, and then they should be hitting our beach just after the new year. All of the other, I have checked in with all the various roadway projects that are going on with the city, making sure that they're all going to be buttoned up tomorrow afternoon, so they'll be safe and passable for residents to get in and out of their places. Some of the concrete work on Lafayette, they just poured the concrete, so they probably better not to use their driveways, but at least they'll be able to get in and out of their facilities, their houses, and it should be safe. Good news, we got a pretty firm connection date for our phones, so we have a very clear end date for our phone woes that we've been experiencing over this year, and I'll be working with all the different departments to get those phones rolled out the first week of December, so we're looking forward to that. And along with that, I had some questions regarding the cost of the phones, monthly costs, and how it did. We're going to see quite a bit of savings on the, and I gave a spreadsheet for everybody to kind of take a look at the savings that we're going to see on them. And those are averages, so that it's not the exact numbers, but that's kind of a typical month. And what I've proposed in discussing with Mike is utilizing some of that savings and upgrade some of our technology for our internet infrastructure and provide some redundancy both here at City Hall, over Conventions Hall, and at Public Works to make sure we have proper reliability and internet connection at all those locations. So I'm going to utilize most of that savings and roll that into making sure that we're safe. We did, especially at Convention Hall, we did have some couple convention locations where they were trying to have a higher internet speed access, and Comcast just couldn't provide that with their upload speeds. So upgrading that will also make us more competitive in a future environment for conventions at Convention Hall. And that's all I had, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you,
Can I,
Paul.
just a
Please.
question? So Paul, on the EV chargers, is there just going to be a little bit of a sign that says not in use, just so people aren't pulling up thinking that they're functional? I know the strike is not known to know when it's.
They won't be able to pull up to them. They still have their construction equipment
Okay.
in front of that. Once they remove the construction, yeah, they'll bag them so that they won't be able to
Okay,
be
the same at the
used.
Welcome Center?
Correct.
Okay, great,
Correct.
thanks.
But for the short term, they're,
Yeah.
you won't be able to pull up to it, but you will be able to see them.
Yeah, I didn't want people thinking if the
Yeah.
spot was open, wanted to know
Yes.
why. Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, on to ordinances for introduction.
Yes, we have 524-2023, an ordinance prohibiting the use of artificial turf in the city of Cape May.
Do I, actually, do you want?
Yeah, I think I'd like to make a motion to pull this. I know that it would be referred to the planning board after we approved it, but I'd like for it to be sent now and maybe them come back with some more guidance on lot coverage, if it's an impact, what type of material could be used, and even perhaps discussion around location on a property. Backyard, side yard, front yard, what would be, if we would be concerned about it placement.
So you have a motion to table then,
Yeah.
obviously?
Indefinitely, council.
Until planning came back with some revisions to it. That would be my motion.
I have a motion to table, and then we can further discuss. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any questions on that? I did, just for the record, did receive a phone call from the planning board chair, and he had some concerns, and some of it, just an obvious one was, it doesn't really give any, exceptions. And of course, we have some miniature golf courses with artificial turf and things like that. So I think it's smart to get their opinion directly from the planning board and then move on from there. So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin?
Yes.
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
Okay, so next we have the public portion on the resolutions, Mayor?
Anyone wishing to speak on the resolutions only this evening?
Stacy Sheehan, 928 Columbia Avenue. I have a question about Resolution 309, the story map for historic needs assessment. I'm just asking what the scope of the project is, since it was never put in any of the packets that we had received.
Paul, do you want to?
Sure. The scope of the RFP has two components. One is creating a story map, which would describe and outline the African-American history extent within the city. So a lot of it will follow and take reference to the petition that the city has submitted up to SHPO and the National Park Service for that. So that's where most of that information will come, but it's regarding and relating to the African-American,
So
Heritage.
it's just the African-American?
just the African-American
Okay,
heritage.
because my other question with that was, is there a reason why we didn't just have the HPC do this? And that we're spending the
Because it was required,
$23,000?
because it was required to be prepared by an architect that has the National Park certifications for that. So it has to be prepared by somebody that's certified. It couldn't just be prepared by a layperson.
Okay. So in other words, it's just the ones in this certain block here? The African-American ones most of them are in this one block here with the,
It's going to,
The
it's going to
church.
discuss all of the African-American heritage that's within the city. not
okay, so we're just sticking with African-American, nothing more than that?
Correct.
Okay. And then my other question has to do with Resolution 312, the addition for the change order for Kiwanis Park. And my question is, we're doing irrigation. It seems like every project we do irrigation. Right now, if you go into the Coast Guard base, those planters in the middle, there's nothing in them, but our sprinklers go off every day to water the weeds. We should be watching what we're doing for conservation with water. That the park has never had an issue with grass not growing over there. I just don't understand the reason why we're putting all this irrigation in. And is it really necessary?
It's really limited, I will say. It's not for the grass. It's specifically in the little garden beds. So definitely, it's not watering the grass. I mean, of course, yeah, it might spray to some of the grass, but it isn't for the lawn. It's really only for where there's flowers.
Okay, because,
Yeah.
we really have to look into the Coast Guard base, why we're watering weeds. At least it should be turned off.
Stacy, if I could just jump in, it's not just for irrigation. If you read Mr. Orlando's correspondence, it's also for some additional underdrain surfacing. So there is additional work. So I don't think the lion's share is that
The irrigation.
but there is other items under that.
And then my next question has to do with Resolution 314, the insertion of the special item into the revenue budget. I guess my question is, where's that going, that money, that 70,000?
I believe, isn't this the floor?
This is the floor?
The gym?
Yeah, that's to cover, that's a grant we received for the athletic floor for Convention Hall.
Okay, so that's where it is. So we had got the bid last week,
Correct.
and this is the money that's for that.
And this is just the appropriate, because it wasn't input in the initial budget, when the budget was adopted, you do 159 to include it into there so that it can be charged to a budget line item.
Right, and that goes into, I guess, the tourism budget? Since it's Convention Hall for the flooring?
Well, it's recreational improvement.
I'm not sure where it goes, to be honest with you, but it is directly paying for the flooring.
Okay, I just didn't know if, if it's going to the Capitol or if it's going...
Frankly, it should go to the tourism utility, but it's not going to be there long. We're going to write the check for the flooring.
Right, but it shows
Yeah.
the expenses of tourism
Yes,
and where the money's coming from.
Yes, yep. Anyone else on resolutions only this evening?
Real quickly, Jules Rouse, 1010 New York Avenue. This last bill for the Kiwanis Park, the 14.4, is that pretty much going to be the bulk of what else is going to be spent there? Because
That's the only change order this is the extent of the change orders, yes.
I'm guessing you're going to try to wrap this up before the end of the year with
Correct.
a completed report, so we know exactly what the total grants were and what the taxpayers' obligation was?
Yes. And let me just say, I think we're under 2% change orders on the project as approved.
Did the city get 2 grants for that?
The DCA was the main one. I believe there was one other smaller grant, but yeah, that's it.
But that'll be in a report?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep. Any other public comments on the resolutions this evening? Seeing none, we can close public comment. Move to the consent agenda.
Council, is there anything you'd like to remove from the consent agenda this evening?
Council, anything on the consent agenda? There was some discussion on the Broadway Pavilion that was tabled. Let's pull that and then have that discussion, right?
Sure.
Oh, we're just off.
You're just authorized.
It's authorizing the
I
bid.
forgot what we just talked about for 25
now.
minutes. Sorry, everybody.
All
Okay,
good.
That's okay.
okay.
All right.
So we don't need to pull that?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Please.
I don't know if this is appropriate, but I just have a question about one of the items, which is, if I can just ask it instead of pulling it, but it's really for Chief Fashaw. Is it possible, is it easy, the report that you give us on all of the incidents for the months, is it possible to show last year, same month versus this year? I mean, it would be, for me, it would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, a comparison to see trends.
Absolutely. We can, since we purchased this system a while back, I can go back by 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So I can give you, if you give me, just send me an email so I can forward it to Lieutenant Mazza. If you're looking for something specific, traffic-related, crime-related, or just that report that you get.
This
If you
report?
want this year's report mirroring last year and the year before, I can give you a 2 to 3 year timetable, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So do you mind just sending me an email and just
Yeah,
remind me?
Do that.
yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, it might be interesting to see something even for a comparative of the summer months of this year versus last year. So, June, July, and August.
Yeah, so we can definitely, I can give you a yearly for the last 3 years.
Okay.
If I think that's a good number, 3 years.
Yep.
And then I can give you those summer months. I would say, we kick off in June 1
Yeah.
through,
Yeah.
September 1.
Right. But, I mean, this report, and I don't know, Mr. Yeager, if that's where you were asking, as it's produced on a monthly basis, are you able just to show comparative October 22 to October 23 as a new view?
So you want to the monthly report that we
Yeah.
give, you would like last year's number attached to it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would
It
be.
might be a second
interesting.
page, it would probably be
Yeah.
a second page, which is not a problem. So if you would just kind of a quick detail of that
Yep.
to me, and I'll forward it to Lieutenant
Yeah.
Mazza, who handles that
Especially in this
report.
column here. If you
Okay.
had-
Yeah, we could probably
shoot us.
bifurcate it and just put 24 or 23 and
Really, I was
22.
looking
Yeah.
for,
And it give it,
Yeah.
some months are busier, some years are busier.
Right. It would just it'd be a side-by-side trend. So the total calls for service for 22 versus 23. And if that became more of your standard report, I think that would be very helpful just to monitor and see trends if that's. I
Mr.
don't know
Yeager, I'm going to
if
put it
that's
back
what
in
you
your
were-
ball. You're going to send me an email.
Okay.
Right?
Will do.
Chief,
I
before you,
got it. I'll do that.
before you go, I think it's appropriate at this point to say thank you to you and your staff for a bunch of things, but especially, I know there's someone that people probably saw on social media or in the paper that was maybe a little overly ambitious, maybe to pay a tax bill or whatever was
He
going on.
was at the wrong police department
Look,
on a holiday. There's signs clearly on the door said holiday.
Right.
We were closed, but he was supposed to be at Middle Township, so.
But, in all seriousness, when you see the video cameras working, you get a quick identification on the subject and take care of it, it changes the whole story. And
It does.
so
We are putting some definite additional measures after the manager's office and the secretaries came to my attention, just asking for more security in this building, and that was one of the features. We are adding additional, unfortunately, we're going to have to lock City Hall down a little bit better, because God forbid that was an open door, and we weren't here, and the ladies were here by themselves, and he just wasn't, he's kicking a door. God knows what he's going to do when he enters the door.
Right.
So thankfully, we were closed. Secondarily, that won't happen hopefully in a few months when we lock this building down and allow restricted access. We put someone at this window here daily to, welcome the public into their building. But, this day and age, we've got to lock it down because God forbid what he would have done. He was intoxicated, highly.
And just for the record, too, a lot of those, because we hear about it, but for legal reasons and other reasons, a lot of times you'll publish a suspect and ask for information. Typically, you don't announce that they've been caught very more than, okay,
We'll do a quick
wrapped
update
this
that
up.
the subject's been identified. We do
Right.
turn off the comments, so because some of the comments get brash.
Right.
Someone in this state was intoxicated, so they don't need to hear if they're the scum of the world. I don't really want to hear that, so we will turn the comments off.
And I appreciate that, but also just to say to the Cape May public, a lot of times these people are being caught, so.
Oh, and listen, we're not catching them without the public, and our viewers do catch them. And there was a caller that called in and said, and he saw it too, but called in and said, that's me, where do I go? And he is making restitution for both the door and the gold leafing that now, if you see, it just says Cape May, not City on the one side. So that will be fixed. I think we're going to have to replace both at the same time.
Right.
So that will be, we're going to make him pay restitution in lieu of charging him at this current point. That's my decision, so.
Yeah.
Okay? But thank
So
you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other questions, council? Roll call, please.
I don't believe we have, no, I did not read them yet for the consent
I'm sorry.
agenda. I know.
I'm
I
really
know.
jumping the gun.
We're close. So we're good with nothing being removed then? Okay. So on the consent agenda this evening, we have the police incident report for the month of September and October 2023, fire incident report for the month of October 2023, tax collector report for the month of September 2023, Resolution 279-10, 2023, resolution authorizing a bid for the lease of city-owned property known as Broadway Pavilion at 100 Beach Avenue, 309-11, 2023, resolution awarding RFP number 23-04 for story map and historic needs assessment of city-owned properties in the city of Cape May, 310-11, 2023, resolution awarding RFP number 2305 for coastal engineering and planning consultant services in the city of Cape May, 3/11/2023, resolution refunding overpaid fourth quarter property taxes for 29 Perry Street. 3/12/11/2023, resolution authorizing change order number 1 to Kiwanis Community Park ADA compliance project. 3/13/11/2023, resolution authorizing an increase in the change fund for the tax collector's office. 3/14/11/2023, resolution providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue into the budget pursuant to Chapter 159. This is for the fiscal year 2023 local recreation improvement. 3/15/11/2023, resolution for the payment of bills.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments? Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager,
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Councilmember McDade,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
And for Old Business Council, we do have one item. It's Ordinance 492, 2023, an ordinance amending the zoning code to clarify provisions regarding bulk setbacks to public property and nonconforming structures.
Is this the first reading or second reading?
This is actually old business. Council, I believe, adopted this back in the spring, and we found that this was adopted without being sent to the planning board for master plan consistency review. This was during the time where our servers crashed, so there was a slight oversight there. Once we found that out, we did send it to the planning board for them to review, and they came back saying that it was consistent, no recommendations. So that was more just wanting to present this to council, have it in the minutes that this was reviewed by the planning board, and they're good to go.
Would it be prudent to open it up to the public? Since we are making it official at this point.
It was official, it's our, yeah, I defer to Chris on that.
The purpose of putting this on the agenda, presenting it to council, and having it as an agenda item is just to confirm pursuant to the municipal land use law that there was master plan consistency review for that ordinance. So it's sort of a belt and suspenders item here, just to confirm the enforceability of that ordinance. But certainly, anybody that has any comment on that can make a public comment during regular session. But we're not voting on the ordinance. It's already been adopted.
Okay. Okay, on to new business, city solicitor.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Oh,
We had to vote on that.
do we have to vote on it?
No, that was
Oh,
more just
okay.
a housekeeping item for, so that it's on the record saying that it was sent to the planning board and they did a review of it and it's consistent with the master plan and it'll be reflected in the minutes.
Okay, new business, city solicitor,
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
city manager,
No, sir.
city clerk.
Just a reminder that city offices will be closed this Thursday and Friday for the Thanksgiving holiday, and that, as our city engineer indicated earlier, we are getting a new phone system, so our phone lines will be down on December 7th, I think for a significant part of the day. So if you are trying to reach City Hall and nobody's answering, that's why. We will have email, we might have some phones here and there. You're welcome to come in person, but they will be working on the phone lines.
The non-emergency number will be working. 9,500?
I can
Yes.
assume that that
Just
is the
make sure
case,
that
yes.
Aware that
Yeah, 9500 is not being impacted. 9500 will continue to ring through for emergency service.
I just want to make sure that's clear.
Thank you.
And that's it, Mayor.
Okay, deputy mayor.
Just a few updates. The bid met, and there are a few happenings that are going to be on the mall. On Saturday, the 25th, Shop Small Shops with music and Santa strolling,
What date was that?
the 25th, Saturday.
Nice.
The 8th of December, Hospitality Night, they're going to they'll have singers, Santa strolling there as well, and then they'll have live music on the mall, December the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th.
Great,
And that's all, Mayor.
great. Councilwoman McDade.
Nothing at this time, Mayor. Everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with family and friends. Don't
Council-
eat too much.
Councilman Meyer.
I have a couple things I want to bring up real quick, if I may. Has the water bills been sent out yet? Do we know?
I think I saw one in my mailbox,
Okay.
but I'm not, you didn't?
I don't think I saw one yet.
Well, I think,
Have the water bills gone out, do we know? Water bills? I don't. Okay.
well, I think, the next opportunity we have a mass mailing, I think we should have some kind of an additional notice to, remind people about the difference between the commercial tags and the non-commercial beach tags. And that, the commercial tags are transferable and the non-commercial tags are, I'm sorry, excuse me, the other way. Commercial tags are transferable to commercial tags are non-transferable. I just think that needs to be put out there to remind people, we are raising beach tags, so we don't want to encourage people to break the rules.
Right.
And I think it's important to kind of like put it out there, publicly, that on the beach tags, I think it should say transferable or non-transferable, as a reminder of what our program's all about. We could think about that when we decide who we want as or when we award the
art.
design, but I just want to put that out there, tell them, that this is what I'm thinking. We need to enforce that because we are raising the tags.
Maybe on the back of it, rather than, and messing with the design.
Well, I think the
yeah.
back of it, they have the company's logo,
Oh,
But we'll definitely look into
Yeah.
that.
even if it's the tiniest print. The second thing I want to bring up is that I was contacted by Mr. Schiffbauer, the vice principal of the school. He was actually my vice principal back then, of the high school, Lower Cape May Regional. And he was talking about dedicating the field that used to be the football field to Harry Gilbert, who, historically was the coach of the Cape May Tornadoes. And I spoke to him today, and I said, I don't know if you want to do a separate plaque or group plaque, but it's it's another great opportunity to dedicate this park, which is already dedicated to the Wise family, the Anderson family, and the Dellis family. I think the Gilbert family should also be included into this park plan moving
That's great.
forward.
I think that's nice.
And the last thing, I just want to, again, congratulate Deputy Chief Eck with all his work with the rescue task force that he's been working on. He was on NBC. I think that's just really an amazing accomplishment, and it's such a unique accomplishment, to be proud that we Cape May are the ones starting this, and thankful that he did that. So, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Mr. Yeager, Councilman Yeager.
Nothing new from me tonight, and of course, happy Thanksgiving and safe holiday, everybody.
Thank you. I just want to thank the Department of Public Works, their hard work in putting together behind us, and throughout the city. I think you'll start to see it's starting to look more and more a lot like Christmas. And I echo kind of what Shane said too about got to see kind of that active shooter drill. Of course, all things that we hope never happen, but to know that our police and fire department are working together on the worst of any emergency, but actively doing it. And witnessing it, I have to tell you, it was like very impressive, Again, also thank Deputy Chief Eck, and then the mounted police coming into town, Chief Fatshaw and Lieutenant Walker, everyone who organized that. That was really neat. I think the day before they had the K-9 units practicing, and not long before that was the county SWAT team doing some practicing. But I think it just shows the hard work that you all do, or so you're ready for any situation that may occur. So I just want to thank you for that. With that, we'll open it up for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone. Hopefully we didn't give everything away there, Chief.
No, you're good. I just want to remind you, actually, I was reminded by Stacy regarding the Captain Nick Federoff Christmas parade or Christmas party we have for the youth and for the community. We have that at Convention Hall on the, let me make sure my date is correct, the 10th, Sunday the 10th from noon till 3. Face painting, indoor activities. Santa Claus will be there, so if you want to grab that Santa Claus picture, come out and get that. So it's a really good event at the Cape May.
What date was that, Chief?
December 10th from noon to 3. Like the manager said, we have a Christmas parade coming up, one of the largest Christmas parades in Cape May County. I think South Jersey, I see they put it together. So we have that coming up. So any questions, just let us know. And again, thank you guys for everything you've done for us all year. I wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving and holiday season. So anything you need from me, you know how to get a hold of me. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
My group here is reminding me, I'm forgetting things as I go along. We are under the Toys for Tots and the William J. Alvarez Toys collection for the city. This stage will be full at probably your next meeting or before Christmas. I can't take any of the credit for this. This is Duran, Hemingway, and Ali Anafredi, who collect all the toys. We work with DIFUS. We work with a lot of agencies. You wouldn't think of it, but the kindness that comes from this community is very great. Everything you see bought on this stage or here is from the community. So we'll be collecting gifts. We have our trees all around town in Banks and the Wawa. It doesn't take much. Skip skip the bottle of wine and buy a present. It's easy. It's simple. That's all I ask. So anyway, the tags are there. Unwrapped presents, please bring them here or to your location, and we'll wrap them up and get Santa to deliver them. Thanks. Thanks, Jules.
Oh, and actually, Chief, because I had this happen last year, a couple people said that they wanted to volunteer to do the wrapping. Will there be an announcement of when they're doing the wrapping of the presents?
We will, or you can reach out for Duran at 884-9539. But we will. We probably could take all that help, but this room will get really full. So we'll put it out.
Yeah.
It's like usually the 20th or 21st that we wrap. So yeah, so I'll get that out, or at least get it out to the department heads so you guys can know, and council.
A lot of good Cape May wrappers out there. All right. Anyone, anyone else from the public? Please.
Jules Rouse, 1010 New York Avenue. I noticed on the agenda for closed session, you had the Mermaids Restaurant listed. Is it possible to get a status report on where that stands now with the DEP complaint?
Well, the solicitor could probably answer that best. My understanding is that complaint is to the owner of the restaurant himself, but you want to?
The owner of the Mermaids has hired a consultant, and they're making a pre-application meeting to figure out how they need to address the noncompliance. So it's in process.
Where will the city position themselves relative to their application, since it's a city-owned property?
When they finalize and prepare their application, that application will probably come before City Council to be signed because it is our property.
So the city is going to be a participant with the applicant?
We have to be because we're the owner of the property. But the owner of the Mermaids is hired the consultant. They will be preparing the application, submitting the application, but we have to sign it as the owner of the property.
Just to take the negative side, what if the city decides they don't want to participate? Or does the lease require the city to participate?
No.
And relevant to this, relevant to the same issue, they have put up a small wall along the front of their building and have outside seating on what is city-owned property. Did they modify their lease to include that outside area and pay an appropriate fee, such as the people that on the mall pay?
They apply for a patio permit yearly, or is this outside of what's normally out there? Because they always have a patio permit.
They do have a patio permit.
Yeah, every year they pay for it.
Okay. My other issue is, it's more of a concern or a request for information. First of all, I support, this is relevant to the tennis club's pursuit for an ADA grant for $400,000. I think it's a great program. In my business practice, I've had to deal with ADA accessibilities and safety, and I obviously support that. At the last meeting, you approved 4 resolutions to accomplish this process for the grant. I attended the hearing last week, and frankly, there were 3 of us, the president of the TPA Association, Pierre Cole, myself, and a member of the public who stayed for a short period of time. So we got the education as to the sequence of timing, which is really very, very critical. However, I don't recall hearing City Council approve the design or the criteria for which that first grant of $400,000, how it's going to be used. I don't know, I've talked with Paul, Mr. Dietrich about that briefly this evening, and that needs to be done, as I understand it, as part of the application. The other part of that is the tennis center is part of a 44-acre parcel. And depending on the extent to which the city decides they want to improve the tennis property. It could involve a complete circumstance dealing with the drainage of that entire area. And those of us who were around and saw the reason why they built the pond and the criteria for that will recognize that any modified change to the grading of the tennis club property is going to modify that whole general area. So I suggested that be looked at as to what extent does the city want to pursue a plan that would kind of follow the recommendations for accessibility that the report, and I assume each of you have gotten that, will follow. Are we going to do an extensive change to the tennis property, or is this just a one application, or is it planned to be done in phases?
Can I wasn't at that meeting. Did they present, did you see the plans?
No.
Mr. Roush? Okay.
There's no-
I think if you saw the plans, you'd probably, a lot of your concerns would be, diminished. What they're looking at, and first off, we may not get this grant, right? So it's kind of in the early phases of even applying for the grant to the DCA. But essentially, all it is a, if we clearly know where the end of the sidewalk is right now at the new sidewalk that we put in at Kiwanis Club Park, continuing on into the tennis club, and then a bathroom that would be publicly accessible. The problem that the tennis club has is they have a restroom on the second floor of the tennis shop, of the old brick building, frankly. So frankly, it's difficult for anybody to get up there if you've ever been up those steps.
I have been.
Yeah.
I've been a member of the tennis club
Okay, well, so
for
you know.
many years.
Right.
Not recent, however.
Right. So it's difficult for anyone. It's clearly impossible for a handicapped person. So this grant would be looking at a public restroom, and again, a public, not just tennis club. And I believe it's on the right, well, if you're coming from Kiwanis Club Park, from where the sidewalk ends, the sidewalk would continue, and there would be a public restroom, kind of, where the hard courts are, but there's like a green shed there.
Yes.
In that location, so that it would be accessible to anybody in the MAC, on the Physic Estate grounds, anyone walking that new sidewalk, and of course, anybody at the tennis club. And I will say, too, the tennis club did some very extensive ADA, I believe they had a college student who was an expert in, or at least studying in ADA accessibility, do a 20-page analysis of the tennis club grounds, and that was very helpful in this application for the ADA grant.
Yeah, that study was done by a professional organization. It's called the Northeast ADA Center of Cornell University. Did that study.
Yeah, right. That's,
And
yeah.
that, I know that was part of the resolution. I believe it was passed around to everyone. But it's interesting, it would be interesting to know to what extent that you're going to be looking to the taxpayer to go beyond the $400,000 grant. That's the purpose of my question. Where is it going to begin and where is it going to end? Because you have, my understanding of the process is that the grant application has to be filed December 7th. And with that application is a resolution by City Council approving the plan that you're putting forth. And that's kind of a difficulty since there's never been any public discussion, to my knowledge, about the plan.
No, because of the tight window of the grant opportunity. We were just presented that, I think that study that you received, I think was only completed a few weeks ago.
It was done on September 26th.
Right. So, to be blunt, the city's kind of reacted as quickly as possible to that. I do expect this to be on the December 5th meeting, but I will tell you, literally today, I received an email that shows the cost. And it's obviously designed specifically to the grant itself.
I thought that was the intention.
Yes. Give me 1 second, because I want to give you the numbers while you're asking. And this is from Mr. Dietrich. The total proposal cost is $439,400. And I can go through that with you, because understanding that this is a tight window, this has site, and I'm not expecting you, but maybe you can review this later. Site clearing at $10,000, 5-foot wide concrete sidewalk at $30,000, ADA accessible restroom at $225,000, handicap parking spaces at $7,000, ADA, and remember, as you know, but for the public's information, that's a stone parking lot. So obviously, for an ADA parking space, they'd be doing concrete or asphalt, I'm not sure, but a hard surface that then could traverse to the sidewalk. ADA accessible entrance, and I'm not even sure exactly what that is on there, but ADA accessible entrance, $5,000. ADA accessible ramp, $40,000. And that should equal a total of $439,400. And again, that plan will be on the December 5th meeting.
I appreciate that information. I had talked to Mr. Dietrich before the meeting and got a little brief outline of that. It's just that it's not been made available to the public until you've just made the comments.
And just know that if we don't get the grant, it's most likely not going to happen. I mean, that's where it's at.
Yeah, because the deadlines after that are quite critical
Yes.
to both start the project, bid it, and complete it. Has the tennis club, or I don't know what whether the lease requires any adoption by the tennis club for those specific improvements? Mr. Solicitor, I don't know if that's an appropriate question.
You mean as an organization, whether they adopt that?
Yes.
But just like the city, that's how they have to make decisions. So the answer is that, I think, would be yes.
So that's another step that needs to be made. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Roush.
Everyone, a very happy Thanksgiving. And I do have to make the comment that the police departments that were here with the horses was absolutely fantastic. And I suggested to the chief that he reduce the videos that they have and put it on TV, because it would do well for the city.
It was very cool. On that, while Stacy's coming up, my kids went out to meet them, Chief, and got some of the trading cards. I didn't even know these horses have cards. Yeah, with statistics on it. And what was kind of neat was on the back of the card it said, if the horse was like, everything about it, but also like endurance or speed, and it was very cute. So anyway, thank you.
I just have a question on Mr. Roush's questions to you.
Sorry, name and
Stacy.
Thank you.
Columbia Avenue, Cape May, New Jersey. Because is that area Green Acres, does it have to go through Green Acres for approval for covering the land with a permanent material like that?
I don't know.
There'll be probably several outside governmental agency approvals that we're going to need for there.
Okay,
So,
'cause-
I mean, the first step is, as the mayor said, we have to apply to get the grant. Once we get the grant, then we'll go through all normal, it's got to be designed to meet the specific criteria. Then we got to go all, to verify, do we need any other permitting permits? So, we haven't identified what permits we may or may not need at this point, because let's get the grant first, and then we'll go
Okay,
through
I
all
was
those
just
things.
concerned because I grew up when those tennis courts it was a marshland all behind there, and it was for, runoff and things like that. And I think with Green Acres, there was the understanding that we still need that runoff
But
controlled.
just to address it, the amount of work that we're doing is very minimal from an impervious coverage standpoint, as well as there's various types of sidewalk or stuff like that, that if we needed to, we could use impervious, or pervious surfacing for those things to meet those requirements. So, but that'll all be addressed after we get the grant during the design process.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And I just want to be clear to everybody that this is an application for a grant, and that's it. It'd be the application for a grant. We are very far from approving the final design, bidding out the project. I mean, that would be at least a year away, most likely. So I want everybody to know we haven't like skipped some steps here. This is, yes, we want to get this grant application in on time, with the basics of the layout. But we have not finalized design, we have not bid it out. All of those things will take place at this table at a future date, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, the DCA literally gave us probably less than 2 months to come up with a project, adopt the resolutions, have public hearings like we had, Ms. Roche, that you attended. So it's a very tight time schedule. And the good thing is we have good consultants helping us get through this process, and they're prepared for it, so that because many towns aren't going to be able to be in a position to react so quickly, we can, so it gives us a leg up to obtain the funding.
I love when we're given a tight window, because I think, in all seriousness, I think we've come up with, I'm really kind of thinking about like the boardwalk grant that came out from the state. The presentation for a grant that the city made, I think is probably second to none in the state. So we were able to kind of put that together quickly, get it in for the grant, and then we have time, once the grant is approved, to make sure the final design, bidding process, all that. So I think you would agree. I think it'd be a really worthy and good project. One of the biggest questions I always get in Cape May is, where are the restrooms? So adding one in one location, I think, is a good one. Maybe not in the highest populated area, but certainly the tennis club and Physic Estate is, frankly, one of the most visited locations in town. So, any other public comment? Go ahead.
I'd like to compliment Mr. Lauer on.
Yeah.
That's all right. Thank you. The hearing that we held here with just 3 of us, I mean, it was, I'm going to say it was well over an hour, but Mr. Blauer was really very, very conversive and willing to discuss the whole project. So I compliment him with his thoroughness, and he went through the entire procedures to the dates and the times as to how critical it is. I mean, they plan on reviewing these grant approvals by February and getting them approved.
Right.
I mean, they have a tough time on their side, as well as we
Right.
do, getting the application in. But
Exactly.
as far as the information, he was very forthcoming.
I'm
and
glad.
It was
Good.
very informative, so we appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Roush. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we can close public comment. Okay.
Adjourn.
Okay.
Adjourn.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion.
So moved. The time is now 6:05.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.